Hello YouTube and welcome. Today is my first video for this show. I am the open source futurist. Now, being the open source futurist, I am looking at technologies from today and seeing how they can be used for tomorrow. Now, for my first little project that I was going to work on, I was going to show you what I was thinking of doing with a scooter. Now I have the scooter right here. It's the Carbon Fusion. It's a very nice little scooter, 4 wheels. I mean, I'm a little bit more heavy than most people, and me and my daughter ride around quite a lot. She has a Razor, and I have this. Now, this is all good and everything, but I believe in upgrading. Now, with upgrading, that means new tires. I've already gotten new wheels on it that are a very aggressive tread for all terrain, and it also happens to be time for me to look at the possibility of changing it into something new and different. Now, looking at this, we see the electric setup for a longboard. Now, this electric setup, yes, of course, is probably going to be a little bit more expensive than what you'd want to do right off the bat. It's $548, but in doing this, we can turn anything that's got the back end of trucks into a powered vehicle. Now, with knowing that, we got to think about what we can do. Oh, look at this. I was looking at aggressive tread, and these ones actually have air in them. Now, I was thinking it would be even better for certain areas that I want to ride in. But moving on, we have the longboard. Now, with the longboard, we end up having this problem with not having handles for people like me who don't have the best balance. But yet, scooters have handles which are perfect. Now, using something like the front end off of a scooter, you have to find a scooter that the folding assembly will come off, unbolt. And then you need to go and do something like if you had an assembly that came off and was a standard rigid piece, to go and get the whole folding effect like what I'm looking for my scooter, you would end up needing to go and get some bike risers that end up folding. Now, folding bike risers means that you can fold it down like a standard scooter. Now, this also means that you can go and change other things, like using bicycle forks for the front end of the scooter to go and make it be able to hold a bicycle tire or an extra wide scooter tire, or multiple scooter tires. Now, in my plan, I'm going to be using one front wheel that's very small, 12-inch or less, and I'm going to be using two back wheels off of a set of skate trucks. Now, that's going to be with the aggressive tread, and that also means that I'll be able to put a motor onto it, which, having a motor on it, you of course know is going to be very, very useful for when I'm doing my riding from here to there. So that's my project that I'm waiting on the parts for. Now, moving on from there, we also have another project that I've been looking at doing. Now, I hope all of you enjoy these projects, but this one's a little bit strange. Now, this goes back to my open source futurist, looking at all the things that we have now and the things that we could do later. And it just so happens that one of these things is already set up by one of my favorite shows called Futurama. We're going to go through and see what this is that we can go ahead and set up. So, here we go. Moving on from a folding scooter to Futurama. Now, here we see Futurama in the episode where Fry makes a opera using the magical instrument, which I have no idea what it's called. But what it ends up doing is it puts a holographic, no, holophoner. It's a holophone. But what it ends up doing is it puts a holographic image up. Now, in these pictures, there are actors in the costumes. The costumes are just single color costumes, and the projections put over top of their costumes, so they can look like absolute anything that they want to. Now, in doing this, you got to really think about what you want to do with that sort of technology possibility. I mean, that means that you need a suit that you could very possibly wear that would reflect the light properly back from the projector. Now, in doing that, you need to set up your projector, of course. Now, with your projector, you need one other thing. With today's technology, we're actually able to use something that was pulled out from, Microsoft, the Xbox 360 Connect. The Xbox 360 Connect is able to take a look at all of the movements that are happening and follow them. Now, this means with using a morph suit and a projector and the Xbox 360 Connect, you can actually have the images of whatever characters following you, much like in the cartoon here. Now, in doing so, they have already done this, but they've done it with uh, stable materials, things that don't move. Now, as you're going to be able to see here, I'm going to go ahead and bring up a advertisement for a furniture modification company called Mr. Beam. Now, this I found very, very interesting because this really helped propagate my idea for the futurama-esque use of a morph suit and a projector and a Kinect. Now, if you take a look, we're going to go ahead and watch this, and the entire situation, you're going to see they change all the colors with the projector. So here we go. Now, as you can see with this sort of technology, we're changing the backgrounds and the cover of the material to look like something else. Now, of course, you can tell by using a morph suit that can reflect the images much like this couch can. You can easily go and get the image onto something. The only problem is with the morph suit, you have a moving person. So you have to be able to go and follow the moving person, which is used for the Kinect. Now, this creates the possibility for new types of theater where everything changes around the actors and all the actors do is move, much like a green screen theory, but more of a silver screen. And of course, thank you to the Mr. Beam project and to Microsoft Connect and to all these other things. Now, this is my first show, and I'm planning on doing many more. But my first thing to do here is to set you up for my next show and my ones afterwards. And now, of course, this is open source futurist. Um, I'm planning on doing this at least once a week or more. After this one, it's probably going to end up being a guaranteed hour. Now, with all this that we've done today, we've only looked at two things, and of course, this is practice. One of these days coming up, when all the parts come up, we're going to go ahead and see a video of me building the scooter that I had just forementioned, the replacement of my carbon fusion. We're also going to be taking a look at the creation of sci-fi stories. So using technology of today and situations from today, we're going to go ahead and look at the possibilities of a sci-fi story out from the things that we see at this exact moment in time. So we can make our own plot and our own story with whatever's happening around the world today. I'm going to be reviewing some science fiction movies and some fantasy movies, pretty much anything that I like. If anyone out there wants to suggest a movie for me to review, go ahead suggest it. My first movie to review is going to be Kubo and the Two Strings. Um, that's because of another thing that I'm doing on this channel, which is customize it. If anyone wishes to bring me an item and wants it to be changed into something else, I am willing to do it. Later on, we're going to start a show, which is going to be friends of mine and possibly even people out from YouTube sending in items for me to work on and adjust and turn into something brand new. The possibilities are endless. So do remember to think about that, because I'm going to be finding a few people in my area to go and offer some items for customization. Um, and we gotta see, since this is open source futurist, what it is in the world that we can do. And now with the technology that we have and the technology that's budding in the future. Now that means looking at things like Kickstarter and other funding sites where large companies aren't, but smaller companies are. Smaller companies creating new innovations for the world. There's this one little innovation for the world that I have found and I'm saving up for because my daughter's into engineering. And that's this one called Brixo. Let me go ahead and bring some Brixo information up for you. Yeah. See if it works. Ooh. I'm sorry for all of this problem, but I guess we have to also wait for loading. And here is Brexo. Now, so you can understand exactly what this is that I'm hoping to get, um, I was an avid enjoyer of Legos when I was a kid, and that is passed on to my daughter. And this is new technology for Legos, so we're going to wait for a few seconds, and we're going to see the possibilities here of the uh, Brixo block. Alright, here, and enjoy. This is John. While his neighbor is yelling about how his dog ate his paper. This is John, in the same situation, using Brixo. What is Brixo? It's an awesome version of building blocks that makes your designs come to life with electricity, sensors, and Bluetooth. Let's see some prototypes from our testing lab. Closing the circuit. This is Bluetooth, sound sensor, light sensor, proximity sensor. How amazing is using Brixo? This is Kate making her morning coffee while discovering Roy used all the milk for his cereal. This is Kate, same situation with Brixo. Brixo has three types of blocks: connectors, action blocks, and trigger blocks. Use the connectors to make a circuit, then indent the action blocks to get your design light or movement. Now you can use trigger blocks to control your design with sound, proximity, and light. Brixo can also be controlled remotely, which means you can connect your design to your phone and even to the internet and automate stuff, if you're into that sort of thing. But who likes to automate stuff, right? Oh, and there's a battery block, which will live that way. Here's Mike while his coworker turns off the air conditioner, even though it is 90 degrees outside. This is Mike, same situation with Brixo. You can use Brixo to upgrade designs made with regular building blocks, which will make them like 100 times cooler. No wires needed. All Brixo block components are built in. Brixo is also an amazing educational tool for your kids, but know that they'll forever mock regular building blocks. Buzz and Amir have been working on Brixo for a long time. They're both physicists, so they know a thing or two about electricity. So if you like building stuff and don't mind getting addicted, support them and get your own Brixo. They're cheap. So you heard them, you should support them and get your own Brixo. I'm going to be doing the same thing as soon as I have my money saved up. The actual amount for the bricks that I'm going to be getting is actually, let's go ahead and scroll down here and see the amount. We scroll all the way down to the last one, and as you can see right here, it's $159. Now, that doesn't seem like it's too good of a deal, but trust me, we see what's in it. This is the deal of the century for any blocks builders. Coming with two batteries, making it possible to make two robots at once. Four motor blocks, of course, that means movement, and then all these other blocks to go and work with it. I cannot wait until I can order this. It's going to be in a little bit of time, so yeah. Now, I hope you all enjoyed all of this, and I hope we can do this all just a little bit more, like maybe for another 45 minutes. What should we talk about for 45 minutes? I know, right? How about this? Sci-fi creation. At this point in time, I'm working with another client of mine to create a game. It's sort of like D&D. It's got new thoughts to it. And I'm personally building the mobile app to go and work with it. It's going to be simple. It's going to be free. Of course, I've developed as much as I can with the knowledge that I have, and from this point on, I'm going to end up hiring some people to assist me on the building of this app. It's an extremely simple app for what I've put together, but the name of the game is not made yet. It's very, very fun. There are 12 different ability sets. Each ability set has 9 abilities in it that you can use with your imagination. It just gives you a simple framework to go and play your character in, and with a good DM, we're going to be able to go and see how that really works. Using your abilities to mix and match to create different situations and different scenarios in the game. This means that instead of having 9 spells per section, which there are 12 sections, you actually end up having the ability for an infinite number of spell creations out of those 12 sections. Now, in the game, you can only use two sections at once, which limits the abilities that you have, but yet then there's also the ability for animal companions, which also can have the similar abilities, meaning that you have the option of a toolbox. Now, these sets of games and everything are going to be coming up in a little while. We're working really, really hard to get them all done. Right now, we're working on the book, and we're going to be possibly hiring someone to go and build the application. Now, after the book is done, we have the original notes from the author about his world that he's creating. And we plan on turning this into a Red Book situation. If anybody knows Carl Gustav Jung or J.R.R. Tolkien, you know that Jung created a Red Book, which was a dialogue of the world around him. And J.R.R. Tolkien actually did the same exact thing, but he did it inside of his world of the Hobbits. So there is a Red Book inside Middle Earth, and that's been printed as well. Now, our author here is brilliant, and he's been creating this for the last few years, and we're close to being at the end. And all of his notes that he's going to have when we're done writing this, before we publish it into a PDF and physical copies, we're going to turn his Red Book, his notes, into a Red Book, so you can see all of the thoughts of the author as he was creating this new world. Yeah, it's going to be an awesome, awesome game. What else today? Huh. Well, Open Source Futurist is brought to you by, of course, GW Phoenix, also another company from me. We sell and produce artwork. We also help others that are in a situation where change is needed to learn how to sell their artwork for themselves. Now, in doing all this, that means that some people would end up having to pay. Not quite. In the situation here, we have scholarships. That means that we take a look at your art and we decide whether or not we want to attempt to go and sell it for a session. So we buy one lot. Now, in my calculations, one lot that we can actually do and it be successful and not put anybody out is $100 lot. That means we decide exactly how much your artwork is worth, me and the client, whoever that may be, and we decide to take a look and see how much we could get for the product and then get a good amount over top of that back. So we decide afterwards, after taking a good look at how much each piece costs and such and so forth, exactly what to do to go and get a full order. Then, of course, I put the pieces up on my website, and we see how the order goes, depending on how many sell on the website or in person, because we don't only do our sales online. We also go to physical areas, much like the Saturday markets of my local area, which happens to be Portland, Gresham, Oregon area. Now, with doing all this, that means that you could find us in person. We will be putting together a set of sales coming up, and of course we'll go ahead and post the information about those on that. When the time comes, we will also be informing everyone of the sales, wherever they may be, and if we're going to have any sales online. If you have artwork or any other sort of stuff, and remember, art is everything that you enjoy doing. Something that you're skilled at is artwork. So that means if you write, if you play music, if you create beautiful things, or if you can sing, it does not matter. It is artwork, and we will find a way to make it profitable. If we can't find a way to make it profitable, then you've lost nothing and you've gained everything. Because in this situation, we're going to make sure that we can show you how to do everything that we do on your own. And that would also mean that you could do it in your area. The possibilities are endless for this. And we really, really want to make sure that that the new economy, which is changing, of course, the new economy is an entertainment economy, where we have crafts and different type of entertainment. So actors, music, games, all of this, including food, is entertainment. It's a fulfillment of our need for movement and entertainment. Again, this is my first YouTube, and our next one is either going to be tomorrow, Saturday the 17th, or it may possibly Monday. I'm going to try and post one up on the 17th and get all this put together. If you're listening now, listen more, because there's more strange things coming, and as you can probably tell from the sci-fi creation and the sci-fi possibilities that we go into, that you may have the ability to go and hear some pretty crazy stuff. And eventually we're going to have the ability for calls and all other types of situations. we want to get more people on the show also in time. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do. Now, this is my first intro, so I was showing you all exactly what I'm going to be doing, the possibilities for coming up situations, and all that. Um, any suggestions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. Um, if you want to flame me, I don't care. I won't listen to it. I won't look at it. If you want to give me good ideas for the future, I will take every good idea into consideration because I need every bit of help that I can get. Um, I'm also going to be bringing on a producer some point in time, so I'm not doing this all on my own. And we're probably going to have a camera person at some point in time, so again, not doing this all on my own. Our first build will be coming up as soon as either I can think of something or my objects that I've ordered have come in. Uh, the skateboard and the scooter parts, when all those come in, we will go ahead and start a show on me building it. And that means that I'll also need a better camera at that point in time. So if any of you in the Portland area have a better camera and want to see someone succeed, go ahead and leave a message in the comments, and I'll go ahead and get in contact with you to go and see what we can do together for videos, because I need someone better than me to be able to do this. And with all this said, we have a few more moments until I feel like I should close this off. So we're going to talk about some more sci-fi things real quick. If you have any ideas for sci-fi inventions that you've seen and you want to try and see working, or since we're also doing sci-fi stuff, that means that I also do cosplay. Anything that you want built, if you want it to look like a certain way, tell me what you want it to look like, and I can build it. With enough time and enough resources, we can and will build anything, do anything. Enough time and resources. Remember that. So it's all about the time and the resources for us here with GW Phoenix and our new show that we have just launched, the Open Source Futurist. I'm Glenn. Thank you very much for listening. Please please do everything you can to help us succeed here. Like I said, we're sponsoring local artists, as many as we can. We want to sponsor as many people as possible. We even have a couple artists that are willing to come up on future shows. When those shows come up, we will go ahead and warn you and post them up afterwards. So yeah, I guess you too. You'll hear me in a couple days.